What's happening, everyone? It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. Today, I wanted to talk about my Marvel Comics collection and how it's changed over the years and why it's gotten to the size that it's at now. It's a lot smaller than it was a few years ago, and obviously, there's a lot to that. And it's sort of more so about how I'm considering collecting moving forward, just based on life situations, having to balance finances, and just really trying to determine what books I want in my collection. So we're going to talk about that today and sort of talk about the books that I've got and my thoughts on them and why I'm still holding on to them. So let's dive right in. Now, before we get started, just really quickly did want to say, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We post content daily, including live streams, hardcover reviews, overviews, general top five, stuff like that. Anything comic and hardcover related, we're a channel for you. Be sure to hit that like button as well. It really helps us out, folks. And real quick, we are sponsored by Dr. Squatch. They are a soap company, an organic soap company without all the chemicals, parabens, and all that. It's a subscription-based service where you can do a one-time purchase, but down below, if you do decide to do it as a subscription, you will get free shipping. Just follow the link in the description. Be sure to check out our Patreon as well. We're going to be doing giveaways there coming up real soon. In the next couple weeks, there's going to be the first hardcover comic giveaway. Be sure to check that out, patreon.com/the hardcover comic. There's a link in the description as well. But let's talk about the books in front of me. I'm not going to keep these here the whole time because it's a very fragile thing right now. All it takes is for me to sneeze and this whole thing topples over. Yeah, this is my entire Marvel Comics collection, not including the X-Men floppies that I've been getting for the Jonathan Hickman of X-Men stuff, but this is it. So a few years ago. Well, let's start here. So, when I started this channel, it was just sort of me by myself. I was into Omnis, I was into deluxes, into hardcovers, and so I started making videos, putting them up on YouTube years and years ago, and just sort of whenever I'd get a new book, just do a quick overview, flip through the book, talk about it a little bit, what it contains, what the book physically looks like, with the quality of it, stuff like that. And then, over time, I would pretty much just buy almost anything that was coming out. Any omnibus, I would pick it up. Any deluxe edition, I would pick it up. Absolute, I'm on it. But, things started to get a little out of hand. Of course, I grew up and I had more responsibilities come up. I was engaged for a little bit, and so I had to start putting aside finances for that. That's no longer a situation in my life, but it made me realize where the comic collection stands in the grand scheme of life. And when I needed to get money, it was a good place to go to get that money. A lot of books were out of print, they were going for high money, and a lot of those books were unfortunately Marvel books. So I had to part ways with things like Uncanny X-Force, all my Daredevil Omnis, all this stuff, Alpha Flight, Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinity Gauntlet, all those books. And this is what we've got left. And it was there are definitely some books that I regret letting go, and I'll talk about those as well. But I think I'm in a place now where I've got a base collection that I really enjoy. These are books that I think I'm going to reread in the future, and they're runs that if I do ever end up having kids, it'd be cool for them to enjoy. I think they would enjoy them based on my tastes. But I'm going to clear the desk a little bit here and talk a little bit more about the individual books and again where I'm going moving forward. So starting off with the Omnis, I've only got about these 5 left. Even some of these like Earth X, I enjoyed it. I like what it was. I appreciate the scope of it and what they were trying to do, but it wasn't. It's one of those stories that it took me a while to get into, and I think it takes most people a while to get into. And even then, it's not very rewarding in the end. There's not really a great resolution to the story, and it's more of an exploration of ideas than anything else. It's nice to, see it in oversized format. Nice to see it collected, but I don't know. It's one of those series that I don't know if I'm going to ever reread. And it's a book that I might potentially actually even sell. Same thing goes for Squadron Supreme and Young Avengers. They're great stories. They're fantastic stories, and I appreciate them for what they were. But in terms of stuff on my shelf now, I'm really trying to focus on books that I know I'll want to reread. For example, Uncanny X-Force, one of those books I would love to reread one day. I regret selling my initial copy, but damn, when it was out of print, it was worth a lot of loot. A few other books like New X-Men by Grant Morrison, Daredevil, all the Daredevil stuff, pretty much Brubaker, Bendis, Mark Waid even though with the Mark Waid stuff I could probably pass on it, but I do regret selling those. I'll look to get those back again someday. Hellstorm I do enjoy. It's a very different kind of book, especially for Marvel. It's Warren Ellis, and it stands out. It's a different kind of story, and it's nice to revisit once in a while, in my opinion. So that's one I'm going to hang on to. But this is all I've got for Marvel Omnis at this point, at least official Omnis. In terms of oversized books, I'm really happy with where my collection's at now. I've got a good mix of creators that I like and runs that I really, really enjoyed, like Punisher Max. Punisher Max, I don't think is one of those things I'm ever going to want to sell. It's an amazing mix of obviously super violent stories, but real great stories about the character of Frank Castle. And they pair very nicely with the Punisher Omnibus by Garth Ennis, of course, because most of the Punisher Max oversized hardcovers is the Garth Ennis content. Daredevil, I'm sort of working my way back into my Daredevil collection, and you got to start with the Kevin Smith, Joe Quesada oversized hardcover. So I'm going to hold on to that one as I rebuild my Daredevil collection up again. I think for Daredevil, man, it's a toss-up. I really miss the Ed Brubaker run. I miss the nostalgia that comes with the Bendis run, even though I wonder now if rereading it, my opinion would be slightly different, having read more Bendis material and having formed, I guess, a bias towards the writer. I wonder how I would feel about his run on Daredevil now, but Brubaker and, man, the Frank Miller Daredevil stuff, I miss that. I wish I could reread it, like, today, right now. The Neil Gaiman books are great. I like revisiting them, too, because they're fun stories. They're 12 issues or 8 issues. They're not super long. You get a lot of really cool ideas and concepts in there with amazing artwork. No, John Romita, it is what it is, but it's still a really cool series, Eternals. And then of course the last one didn't have room on my little desk, but it is The Vision by Tom King. I've reread this book already 4 or 5 times. It's one of the best Marvel stories, in my opinion, period, ever. It's so damn good. They give you so much bonus content in the oversized hardcover as well. So with my Marvel OHCs, I'm pretty damn happy right now. And now, last but not least, the standard sized hardcovers. Honestly, I have way more of these than I would like to have, but 4 of them are custom binds. I gotta have my Moon Knight because I love me some Moon Knight, all the way from the Warren Ellis stuff up into the recent Max Bemis run. I know, of course, the Jeff Lemire book got an OHC, which is now out of print, which sold out real hot. But it's nice. I get to have my own little custom bind here. I'm pretty happy with. It is signed by Greg Smallwood as well, because I got it at a con where he was there. So it's got a lot of really cool stuff going for it. Of course, Captain America by Rick Remender. I really enjoyed that run. It's a great Captain America run, in my opinion. It's got some low points, of course, as all runs do, but overall it's really great. And man, having that custom bus, every time I go back to it, it reminds me of when I started getting back into collecting floppy issues. It was around the time of Marvel Now with Superior Spider-Man, Captain America, and this is made up from single issues that I purchased when I got back into collecting. So it's got a whole bunch of nostalgia attached to it. So I don't think I'll ever let that bad boy go. It's great. I don't have much, Marvel or Captain America, so I don't really want to say bye-bye to it. Miracle Man, barely even a Marvel title. I mean, it's just published by Marvel at this point. Great story by Alan Moore. Amazing artwork by Alan Davis. I wish the relationships between creators and publishers were better, because this book deserves an oversized format. The artwork is phenomenal. The story is dark and deep, and it's a great look at the stereotypical Superman. And then down there I've got stuff like Supreme Power, which was a JMS Gary Frank series in the Marvel Max universe. From what I remember, a really great time. It was also obviously dark, violent. It had some political aspects to it, and overall, I really enjoyed it too. It's something I'm gonna reread because I don't remember every detail of it, and I know it's a good time, especially with the Gary Frank artwork. And then some stuff like Marvel Boy, just me being a Grant Morrison fanboy, having to collect as much of his stuff as I can, and that's the best way you can read Marvel, boys. So, you know, my thing is with Marvel, in terms of stories that I know I'm gonna reread, that's what I'm looking for in my collection now, right? What books am I gonna get that, you know, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, I'm gonna want to pick up again and look through again and enjoy again. You know, back in the old days, I was just buying stuff, barely ever reading it, and it just sort of felt ridiculous. Just buying for the sake of buying. And now it's different. Now I'm really enjoying these books. You know, they're earning a deeper place in my collection because they're surviving the purge. Honestly, man, with Marvel, I just don't feel that much of a connection to the characters. With DC Comics, I was always a big Batman fan. Reading, you know, the Sinestro Corps War blew my mind, and it was what made me want to get back into comic books. And then I started seeing all this Marvel Now stuff, and so I started reading some Marvel, and I was enjoying it for what it was. But then we started seeing events like Age of Ultron and all that other crap that followed, Original Sin, Axis, you know, things that weren't the best events, that were changing a lot of things in the Marvel universe. And as a new reader, I was kind of turned off by that. So, folks, why don't you all give me some recommendations as to what I should read from Marvel? What are some omnis that, you know, in your Marvel collection you don't ever see yourself parting ways with? You know, what would you recommend to someone who's going to pick up their first Marvel omnibus? Something that they can enjoy for years and years. What's a book that you've enjoyed for years and years? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all very much for tuning in. This was Mike from the Hardcover Comic. My Marvel collection has shrunk quite a bit from the past, as you guys have seen, and I'm down to a few that may even trickle down to less over the next year or so, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's staying optimistic. A lot of these reprints are going to make me very happy and make my collection a little more closer to what I would like it to be. So I'm very excited for that. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We post videos daily about comics, anything related to comics. We like to have a conversation with you. Also, comment down below. We always reply whenever we can. And be sure to hit that like button as well. It really helps us out. And you know, if you're interested in getting a chance to win some comic books every month, we give out digital codes. We do giveaways every month. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the hardcover comic. Voting starts this week for an upcoming hardcover giveaway. So if you want to get in on that, be sure to become a patron as soon as possible. And thank you all very much. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. You stay classy, Internet.